Nobility logo in purple. www.knowbility.org. AIR 2021, the final countdown. Hashtag AIR 2021.
Thumbs up. Jay, are we ready for blast off? All right. Everybody, welcome. Today is Sunday, November 7th. It is 6 p.m. New York City time, 5 p.m. Central time, and a few other times, given that this is an international conference, but those are the only ones I know. And that is because Nobility is in Central Time, and I am currently in the Northeast. But anyway, we are so excited to have all of you here to celebrate this momentous occasion, to celebrate the final countdown for the Accessibility Internet Rally. So I will go ahead and before we go on, just do an audio description. I am a Hispanic woman of Dominican descent. I have short curly hair, and I am wearing a shirt that is purple, our favorite color today. And it says, I am a blank, and accessibility is my responsibility. And so these are vintage Nobility t-shirts. You should absolutely get one. And so I'm going to pass it along to my colleague and the person that is the brain behind this operation. Jay, go ahead and introduce.
Oh, I don't know that you can call me the brains of this operation, but I am Jay McKay. I am a 40-ish Caucasian woman. I have short hair, wearing glasses. I got my big gamer headset on, and I stole my husband's purple dress shirt, sans the really nice purple tie that went with it. I'm a little sad about that part, but that's okay, because you are all here for the final countdown, and we couldn't be more excited. And we are at the finish line. And to start us off with this great event, we have a short video done by our very own Erica and Molly. And you will see Erica running across the screen, waving the checkered flag as we get ready to go for our final countdown event.
Outside the Nobility office, Erica comes around the corner, running on the sidewalk carrying a large checkered flag. She disappears around the other side of the building. Here we go. AIR, Accessibility Internet Rally.
All right, so thank you, Erica, for that.
You got that in one place.
There. All right, so the true brains of this operation, somebody who we would not have AIR at all. We would not all be here. Nobility wouldn't be here without her. And that is the ever wonderful, the knowledgeable, the wonderful sage that guides us and leads us, Miss Sharon Rush.
Executive Director of Nobility.
I'm looking over my shoulder like, who's here? The wonderful sage. I think we're going to see John Slayton or Jim Thatcher from beyond. No, the truth is that AIR is and has always been a really vibrant community collaboration. So much as I would love to take the credit for it, I really can't, because it happened as a series of conversations around Austin, you know, when the internet was changing everything about how we did business and how we lived in Austin, and we were becoming a tech center. And my job at the time at Easter Seals was finding employment for people with disabilities. And I just kept coming up against these walls. And so my conversations in the community were, why can't people with disabilities do this? Why are these barriers here? And it was as a result of those conversations and the people who got interested in this problem and the way that they said, you know, if you want the tech sector to be involved, you have to do something competitive. So we came up with this idea, and I say we because it really was a we. It was Anna Cisnet of Maine and people at the city of Austin and people like, you know, our sponsors, this even today, the people who support AIR this year. I want to make a point to say thank you, because I mentioned the city of Austin way back when. They still support us through their cultural grant that we get through the Cultural Arts Division of the city of Austin. Our sponsors this year included the Big History Project, Monkey Boy, Adobe, which is a returning sponsor also, Rev.com. Not only did they support us financially, but they provided captioning services to several of the teams. Zendesk was a sponsor, Visa, and lo and behold, for the first time, we'd like to welcome eBay as a sponsor to AIR. So without the sponsors, and of course, the folks you know probably by this time really well, this great staff led by Jay McKay doing the all the organizing for AIR, supported by Mariella doing the marketing, Mark Boyden, tech support, Molly Moore and Erica Braverman, community engagement specialists. It's really, really a team effort. And I don't know that if our accessibility services team is here, but they definitely support this also behind the scenes. So much as I would like to accept your praise, Jay, I have to say, it started as a team effort, it continues as a team effort, and the people who are here are the ones who really did all this work and made the AIR magic. So thank you all. Thanks for being here and thanks for being part of this.
All right, thank you, Miss Sharon.
Alrighty, so we are going to keep on going. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Sharon. And if we look at what Knowbility is, all of these years later, Knowbility is still very true to our original mission. Knowbility is a nonprofit organization that provides a host of services, training, and opportunities. Specifically, we provide community programming, we do audits, we do consulting, we do training, and we do workshops on web accessibility. And we focus on providing this training to tech professionals and allies so that together we can create that community that is going to make the web and the future accessible for all of us. Since 1999, I read an article from a student the other day that said at the end of in the late 1900s and I was just like, what? But this organization was really founded in 1999, and it's really not that long ago. But we've been making such an impact, and we are still here. Knowbility was and is still working with hundreds of businesses, education centers, government organizations, and other nonprofits to train staff, implement effective accessibility practices, and monitor the long-term goals to reach millions of new users by making the web accessible. And we are thrilled that we are staying true to that mission by having all of you join us today to continue to make the web accessible. Let me pass it on to my colleague. Actually, no, this slide is still mine. I want to once again thank our sponsors for making today's event possible. We have Visa, we have Rev, we have Monkey Boy, we have Zendesk, we have the City of Austin, and as Sharon mentioned, they are still supporting us today. This is incredible. We have the Big History Project, we have Adobe, and we have eBay. Thank you to each of you. And thank you to the individuals that facilitated these connections. We are so grateful for the sponsorships and the donations and the commitment that we receive from organizations to continue to do this work. Let's go to the next slide.
Sure. So tonight we're going to keep it pretty chillax. Of course, we always want to keep up the excitement and the energy, but we are going to just go over very briefly the submission packet in case there are any last minute questions. We know that several of you have already sent in your packets early. Thank you. That's wonderful. If for some reason you think of something as we go over things, maybe as we review AIR, if you think of something that you forgot to put in that packet, don't worry, you still have time until 6 p.m. Central Time. So we've got a little bit of time for you. So that's why we want to make sure we go over the packet a little bit so you have any questions. Then we're going to do an AIR and review. This was my first air, so it was very exciting for me, but I hope you find it just as exciting. I think some of the stats that we're going to show you, as well as the team videos that were sent in, were just an absolute joy to put together. So we wanted to share those with all of you. Of course, no final countdown is complete without an actual countdown. So we have a nice countdown video, and then we are done for the night. So we're going to keep it moving pretty quick today. All right, so we are going to talk about the submission packet. If you have any questions, feel free to jump on the mic, put it in the chat, and we'll get to them. But just a couple of reminders, please make sure that you email your packet to air@knowbility.org. It is due at 6 p.m. this evening tonight. So you have, it looks like 49 minutes left. You will want to make sure that that second tab is the one that you are focusing your efforts on. That's where you're going to put all of your information. Also, if you have any timesheets for your teams, it's appreciated if you can send those over today. If you want a couple extra days to take care of that, that's not a problem. But that submission packet is due tonight. When looking at that submission packet, just a couple of things to remember. You need at least 6 pages are required. So you're going to put those URL links in there. You also have a place to put some additional links as well, but no more than 10. A big thing that the judges were constantly reminding us this year is to be sure that you indicate those advanced features. Okay, so if any of those things that you see underneath that advanced features list, make sure you put those links there. Make sure you make a note of it. Extra effort. This is your time to shine. Tell us the wonderful things that you came up with, the problems that you solved. We want to make sure that you are really explaining that to the judges so they know to look for it, because judges aren't necessarily going to read your mind. They need to kind of see the story from your perspective as well. When we get to the question that says MPO experience, this is the team giving feedback about working with that MPO. Now, I know we've had a couple questions about checkpoint 34, which is the one talking about its site appropriateness, and it says the MPO is supposed to judge that one. We're actually going to talk about that a little later. We will be reaching out to the MPOs with a survey, so they can provide us that feedback for checkpoint 34. So when it comes to that MPO experience on the submission page, that's the teams talking about how their experience working with the MPO. All right, so let's see if we have any questions before I move on to our next slide.
Can I tell a story about
Please.
working with an NPO? One of my favorite ones was when we were still able to go in person. And this was way back when, where a lot of the nonprofits didn't even have any website at all yet. So it was maybe 2001, 2002. And one of the NPOs involved was the Native Prairie Association. And they showed up at the kickoff where you're supposed to bring your assets to hand over to your team. They brought a shoebox, and it was filled with these wax paper, lovingly pressed samples of grass and herbs and things that they'd gathered from the prairies of Texas, and little handwritten notes about what they were and what they meant. And they handed this shoebox over to this group of developers. I think the team was from Dell. And they said, oh, we're so grateful you're going to put all this on the web. So we had a lot to do that week to help them get ready for that was when the competition was still just one day. So we had to digitize all that stuff. We had volunteers and getting that ready. So we learned a lesson from that. But anyway, if you've got stories like that to tell, we'd love to hear.
All right. So it looks like we don't have any questions right now, but like I said, we've got until 6 o'clock. So if you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. We're going to go ahead and go to our next slide, Mariella.
bit.ly/air2021 digital program.
Alrighty, so one of the things that we want to let everyone know is that we have a digital program of today's presentation, gathering, get together. We are going to be sharing the link in the chat in just moment. So make sure that you click on it. So that will be the digital program. Make sure that you check it out. I also want to once again thank all of our mentors, the teams, really all of you took time out of your busy lives, your jobs in the middle of a global pandemic to come together and build these websites and do this work. We also want to give a special shout out to the advisors and judges who are also dedicating their time to continue to create an accessible web. We are so grateful for every single person that took the time and did the work. It's so easy to say, let's make the future and the web accessible, but it's a whole nother thing to actually do the work and make the time and stick to that commitment and learn new things. So here at Knowbility, we are grateful for each of you making that commitment to make the web accessible, and we are so thrilled to have you. We also want to give a special thank you, a really special thank you to Texas Captions for facilitating accessibility for individuals who have hearing loss like me, for individuals who maybe have sleeping babies, and just really facilitating communication access. We want to give a special shout out to Becky. Becky is brilliant. I mean, she was hyped up before I even heard her speak, and I had such high expectations. But oh my God, I hope she blew all of you away as much as she blew me away. And we also want to give a special shout out and thank you to Rev, who facilitated communication access for our teams and for this conference. Thank you. They do some amazing work. And if you need your videos captioned or you need transcription services, make sure that you check out their services. Let's go to the next slide.
All right, so this is our air in review. We just want to take a quick moment to reflect. It has been 8 weeks. We started this journey in September. 2 months have gone by and they have just flown. But we want to give you some stats here. So we actually have a total of 18 teams that competed this year, 9 different countries, and we have a graphic here indicating all of the different countries that were participating this year. So we have Canada, the United States, we've got Nigeria, Australia, I know I'm forgetting some already, Scotland, and I lost my notes where I listed them all down. So hopefully Molly can throw those up somewhere for me really quick and I can look like I know what I'm talking about. We had 8 different time zones. I had the pleasure of meeting with a team where just with me sitting in the meeting, we were in 4 different time zones at once for a meeting. So it's just one of those amazing things about the internet itself and why it is so important that it be accessible, because it really does help make sure that we're all connected. We had 4 college teams this year for the University of Texas at Austin. And this year we had our first high school team. So we were really excited to have that as well. So we just had a lot of variety this year, a lot of different people and different places coming together for this event. So we were really excited about that. All right. So Mariella, if you want to introduce while I set up our video here.
Absolutely. So I'm going to make a quick pause for everyone. If you are not yet, make sure that you are using the hashtag AIR2021 on social media. If you do have social media, including LinkedIn, make sure that you go ahead and use hashtag AIR2021. We will be looking for those hashtags on social media and we may repost it. So if there's something that you hear from the video, something that's talks at you, that you're like, I have to tell the world about this, make sure that you use the hashtag. And I am so excited to look at this video. There was a lot of love and a lot of dedication that was put into creating this. We are so grateful for the teams that really took the time to document this process. Jay, are you ready to show our audience today this wonderful piece of art?
AIR Accessibility Internet Rally, AIR 2021 Teams. RBA 11Y, meeting between the RBA 11Y team and the representative from the Anika Foundation.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, how you going?
Good. So we've got Tate from the Anika Foundation joining us today, and we will be recording this session. So first thing we will do today is just to give you a walkthrough of the website. This is how the current website looks. This is how we are trying to build it.
Looks a lot better on my mobile device that I'm on at the moment.
That's so good to hear, actually. We'll just quickly go through the pages that we have built for the competition, around six or seven pages. Starting with the home page, you got this nice logo here and the opening splash section up here.
Yeah, great. Looks like it's keeping the theme of the original one.
We have made some changes in the navigation here. But before that, you see there's a search bar up here. The first link is Anika story, which is, I think, just as per the old one.
Yeah.
But we have made some changes in the about menu here. This has got a sub menu containing objectives, board and structure, and publication. 3 items under this, and then news and events, scholarships, and a contact form. Then we've got this donate button here, which opens up this modal window.
Okay, yeah.
We've also got this get involved button, which basically takes you to the scholarships page again, because this is the page where we talk how you can get involved with the foundation.
Looks very structured. There's clear pathways to the different funds and supporting channels. So that's good.
Yeah. So as you will notice, we provided different journeys to the same pages. Like from home page, you can access a lot of important information.
Yeah.
As well as from the menu. If you click on Anika's story, you'll notice this. We have carried across this homepage theme of the waves, but we have superimposed with portions from Anika's paintings. So this page is built using 3 tabs.
Photos, art, poems.
So that
great.
we restrict the length of the page. And we've also provided, for the reasons of accessibility, links to go to other 2 tabs from the bottom of the page as well.
That looks really good. It's much better arrangement than a page per picture.
Then we jump to board and structure. These are the wonderful members of the board.
Yeah, okay.
Role of the board followed by the structure. So with structure, you will notice that this is actually done in HTML. So this is not an image. So you can select text here.
Okay.
So just to make it fully accessible.
And searchable.
Yeah. Scholarships. There are 3 major scholarship programs. When you click on the school program, this takes you to this video that you supplied. We have got this text transcript for the video. We describe, audio and the visual components of the video. The next thing we have done is another advanced web component, which is called an accordion.
By year.
So all these past winners have been encapsulated in this accordion kind of arrangement.
Yeah, wow.
So you can.
Excellent. That's amazing.
You can open one, close one, or you can expand all of them.
Yeah, great.
And collapse them all in one go.
Okay.
And the last one is the contact us form, which is a simple form here with some validations.
Name, email, message.
And this is the search engine in action. Okay.
No, that looks really great. It's a lot more user-friendly than the original. Makes a lot more sense about how to get to places, and it's obviously got that accessibility. So
in addition to building this, we've done a lot of testing for accessibility and usability as well. So that's a role within the team. Like Herin is the accessibility mentor for this project, and Raj is the accessibility tester.
Okay. They're trying to find holes in each other one's
yes
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are people who use the website in high contrast mode, so because they invert the
Aye.
colors on the mobile phones and desktops as well. So this
Yeah.
site retains all the important information in high contrast mode. Also, it retains the focus states and active states and everything. And if we've checked it with screen readers, it works like fluidly and very well with the screen readers as well.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So a
Yeah, it's
person
amazing.
can use the website without using the mouse at all, completely access it using keyboard by tabbing into each and every element.
Oh, excellent.
That.
Yeah, that's really handy. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so we started with the design of this whole thing. So Michelle on your screen is our designer.
Yeah.
So yeah, the concepts and all the design elements come from her.
Yeah,
and
great.
then she
Good job.
handed over the designs to our two developers, which is Karthik and Thiru.
Hey.
And
Excellent. Made it all happen.
yeah, and in the development process, Marat, our developer as well as UX specialist, he provided the input from usability point of view. And then, with every piece of development, we kept passing it on to Raj, who was testing this under guidance from Heron.
Yeah, great. Excellent. That's why it looks a lot better than what I did.
Yeah, it's a teamwork.
Fixer-uppers.
Hi, I'm Aman Raju and I'm a senior studying physics and astronomy.
Hi, I'm Bailey Odom and I'm a senior studying English and rhetoric.
Hi, I'm Maria Larna. I'm a junior, double majoring in computer science and rhetoric and writing.
Hi, I'm Morgan Ray and I'm a junior and I am also studying rhetoric and writing.
Hi, my name is Nora Cabal and I'm a sophomore studying rhetoric and writing and I'm a pre-service English teacher.
Hi, I'm Sanjna Reddy. I'm a junior rhetoric major and we're the fixer-uppers.
We are all students at the University of Texas at Austin, participating in the AIR competition as part of Professor T.X.U. Boyle's class, Access Design.
For the rally, we worked with Victoria Rags to create an accessible website for the nonprofit she founded and leads, the Atlanta Jews of Color Council.
During our time working with Mrs. Rags, we first started off by switching the AJOC website to a WordPress site rather than a Wix one for the sake of accessibility.
After that, we focused on adding pages and features Mrs. Rags wanted in her website but did not currently have space for on her Wix site. This included an events page, a more organized and diverse resources page, and various feedback forms.
Considering most of us have little to no web design experience, we focused our efforts on making sure every feature was as accessible as possible. This included color schemes, page organization, navigation, alt text, and links.
We tried to emulate the original bright and vibrant appeal of the original page while ensuring that every user can benefit from this site without unnecessary barriers.
We hoped we honored Ms. Rags' visions as well as AIR's accessibility vision and are extremely proud and excited to launch the new ajocc.org.
Allies for A11Y.
Hi, I'm Rishabh Pradeep, and I'm the team lead for this project. Last year, like everyone else, I had to switch to 100% online learning due to COVID. Even with access to all the books and resources, I found online schooling challenging. My mom, who is in the accessibility field, explained to me how important it is for documents and web content to be accessible. This got me interested in learning about accessible homework worksheets for the blind, and that's how I got into accessibility. I'm interested in computer science and programming and want to use those skills to develop apps that can improve accessibility.
Hi, my name is Neha Venkatesh and I'm a sophomore in high school. When I joined this project, I was completely unaware of accessibility and its importance in today's world. Through this project, I developed an awareness and I've learned a lot about accessibility in HTML. I love computer science and I'm really interested in the STEM field. I'm really glad I got this awareness through the project.
Hi, my name is Amnas Chandla. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm excited about this project because it gives me a deeper insight into the evolving world of accessibility. My interests are playing tennis, playing piano, and just playing video games too.
Hi, I'm Anita Pradeep and I am a team member of Allies for Accessibility. I'm excited to be part of this team, especially because I got a chance to work alongside high school students. I think we learned a lot about what it takes to make a website accessible. Thank you, OpenAir, for giving us this opportunity.
Hopeless Semantic.
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I am a tester and a native screen reader user.
Hello, I'm Ashwini. I'm the designer in this project.
Hi, I'm Laura and I'm a developer in this project.
Hi, I'm Rajesh and I'm a designer in this project.
Hello, I'm Saurabh and I'm also a designer in this project.
Hi, I'm Stacy and I'm project coordinator.
Hi, I'm Irene and I am the project manager on this project, and we are Team Hopeless Semantic from Dell Technologies. On behalf of our team, I'd like to thank our NPO contact Molly from Book People United and the amazing Knowbility team for this opportunity to build an accessible website. Go Team Hopeless Semantic! Woo!
Whoa!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Access Hippos. Sally Thune and Sumner Davenport, past 2020 AIR participants and 2021 mentors.
Good luck, have a great time, and we can't wait to meet our team that we're gonna mentor.
Yay, that's true.
Yup, that's us, Indie Team 9, aka Accessibility plus Hippocampus, Team Access Hippo. Meet the team members. Headshots. Hippo Cam, the captain. Hippo Sierra, the designer. Hippo Jenny, the webmaster. Hippo Paul, the tester. Meet our amazing mentors. Sumner, the A11Y Einstein. Sally, the sassy A11Y diva. Meet our NPO, Brain Education Strategies and Technology. https://bestconnections.org. Dr. Laura Hirsch.
BEST provides me with the tools that I can use as compensatory strategies. I use the BEST app for almost everything I do in my life.
Michelle Renee Wild, founder, CEO.
I've always been interested in technology, and as soon as I started using the smart devices, the apps were very intriguing to me because I could see how they could benefit. There's a wide variety of individuals that are living with challenges that the apps that we've created can actually help them with.
I highly recommend it. It's crucial to navigate life, to have defined compensatory mechanisms, and the BEST Suite app provides everything in one.
As we start with apps, we're now going to try and expand into some other kinds of trainings and some cognitive trainings online, and really try to build a community for individuals with brain injuries that in a way that's not quite out there.
For more information on the BEST Suite and how it can help you or someone you love, visit bestconnections.org.
We started with BEST's original WordPress website. However, we found that it contained many accessibility and usability issues that could prevent users from effectively using the website.
Keyboard accessibility, content description, cluttered information.
Before we could make an accessible website, we needed to communicate and collaborate.
Basecamp, Slack, Gmail.
As team lead, I helped coordinate and schedule our meetings. I made agendas and took meeting notes, and then translated those into action items and to-dos. As a dev team, we started holding regular meetings with our mentors to work on the site, and we stayed in touch with BEST, our NPO, via Basecamp.
I'm gonna share my screen. This is just overall what your website looks like in just like shapes and lines. Just a good starting point for me to understand like, okay, here's the current flow. Now, how can we think about this holistically with the request you guys brought to the table is to remap the information hierarchy here, an architecture, so that it fits more with your top priorities, which I have listed out here.
Our designer, Sierra, was in close communication with our stakeholder, BEST, to gather their requirements and listen to their key features so that we could really design for their needs and the needs of their users.
So I have all the pages here designed out with the home page, the best app suite. I have the whole style guide here for different dark modes, making sure the link text and everything. I've done all the tests and everything passes the AAA standards of color. Typography specifically for their accessibility, in that I look for not only a sans serif, just because it's a lot easier to read, but that there's differentiation between letters. And then I have also the headers all laid out to header 5, and then some different body copy options as well. The form, I've designed it all to have like descriptive text, icons to indicate success and errors, and places to put it as well. And then the buttons, I added indications for when it's in a focus state, so it's not just color.
Once the backend was up and running, each of us implemented different aspects of the site to make the design into a reality. Piece by piece, we stayed in communication and slowly, iteratively brought the site closer to our wonderful design. We were really grateful to Knowbility for the opportunity to do usability testing. We were paired with a screen reader user who was able to navigate our site and provide us with some feedback. It was a good experience, and fortunately, a good chunk of the feedback was positive.
Thank you for your effort in, making this, user-friendly, specifically because I have worked with people in the past who have had traumatic brain injuries and one of their side effects be blindness. Honestly, that was at about a 9 of a 10, and I'm very, very impressed because it was concise, it was quick, it was easy, it was well labeled.
For the constructive feedback that we received on making our site more accessible, we consulted with our very knowledgeable mentors on possible improvements.
JAWS and NVDA work differently whether they're in Chrome or Firefox. That's why we like the A-Inspector.
We used different browser plugins to test for various judging requirements, such as making sure our site is keyboard accessible, that it complies with correct page hierarchical structure.
Your H1 is the most important statement on the page. So that's right there at the top, what they do. Your H2,
that the content can be understood via screen readers.
Heading 2. After participating in the cognitive, having a retraining program like BEST is when someone suffers from a traumatic, our partners. Heading 2. Veterans Chamber of.
We also used various accessibility scanners and bookmarklets for more generalized testings such as color contrast and semantic correctness of HTML code.
Hippo Reflections.
Hi, my name's Cam. I participated in AIR because over the last year or so I've become a big accessibility nerd, but I haven't had too many opportunities to work on web design projects, especially with other people or for another group. So I was really excited by this opportunity to work with a team, and I've been really impressed with my teammates and the skill that they've brought that I don't have. And I've been excited to work and help create a better website for this cool nonprofit. And I've also particularly really appreciated the usability testing we got to do. That was really cool and not a thing I had the opportunity to do before.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm very interested in accessibility, but usually I'm only doing accessibility research, which is not so practical. And being in the AIR competition, I really appreciate it because it taught me how to work with my teammates and then how we can actually bring the design into practice, make the web more accessible.
I'm Sierra, and similar to both Cam and Paul, this has just been an amazing experience. I would say before I definitely knew a lot of the design-specific accessibility requirements, but this has just been absolutely eye-opening to learn about so many of the back end and all the small pieces that come together to create a truly accessible website. And it's just been amazing. We're so lucky to have the two amazing mentors, and also our nonprofit has been so easy to work with and super responsive. So this has been truly a great experience.
Ha ha ha, happy anniversary. Ha ha ha, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Animated Singing Hippos. On behalf of Access Hippo, happy 5th anniversary BEST. Breaking Bad Access.
Hi everyone, I'm Debbie.
I'm Kendall.
I'm Afia.
I'm
Mateo.
Okay, all right. So we're Team Breaking Bad Access, and we've been working with Nobility to make Casa Marianella's website, ELL website, a lot better in terms of accessibility. And this will ultimately help refugees at Casa Marianella learn English. And we're gonna go ahead and show you some of the features on the website now.
So here we have the site. We have the beginning. Pretty much all of this is from scratch. They had a small kind of semblance of a website, but they basically said nix everything. So we have the homepage with the little header up here, and then we split it up into 4 categories that Casa thought were important. So we have language learning apps, literacy, dictionary and translators, and Culture America. And so if you click on language learning apps, you have all the ones, and they will direct you to the App Store, or you can get it on Apple or Android. So we have all of these apps that we received from them. And then if you click literacy, we are still waiting to get some resources with different literacy sources from them. So we're waiting on that. And then dictionaries and translators, we have a list of just language translators to various languages. And we have their external links on here as well. And then if you go to Culture America, we'll fix that link, but we have one, and we're waiting to get more links from our nonprofit as well. And then, so aside from that, we have the About page that talks about Casa in general, and this is coming from the actual Casa site. And we have a questions tab, and we ask them for FAQs that they wanted on the site. This is it. And then we have a contact page that has a picture of Casa and also everything you need to know, including email, number, and address. So that is pretty much our site. And as I said, we're still obviously finishing it up, but that's what it looks like for right now.
UX San Antonio. Headshots of Chris, Diana, Eve, Richard, and Susan.
Hey guys, this is the UX San Antonio team for the 2021 Accessibility Internet Rally. We are all members of UX San Antonio, and we really enjoyed participating in this competition. The first thing we did was to meet with our client sponsors and make sure that we are aligning to what matters most to Chica's mom. We focused on making the website optimized for their clients, their donors, and their volunteers and partner nonprofits. Really important for this nonprofit is to offer content in both English and Spanish.
Also, keep WordPress and modernize the site.
We're going to share a few of our design deliverables. We started with a simple sitemap made in MindMeister and worked through iterating this with our clients. Because mobile is so important these days, we pursued a mobile-first approach, and we started with a wireframe sketch done again in a simple Google Doc. After we got agreement on the mobile experience, we did a desktop wireframe sketch. The client created a content outline in another Google Doc using the sitemap and wireframes as a guide. This is what the existing Chica's Mom website looks like. This is also a WordPress site, and you'll notice in the top right corner they're relying on Google Translate. And here's a peek at the site we did for them. You'll see that we used WPML plugin that allows us to create the entire site to offer in both Spanish and English. The Chica's Mom team was excited to work with a team with two talented designers on it, and one of our designers took a stab at giving them some new logo options.
Logos with birds, roots, and leaf designs.
To collaborate, we did all virtual collaboration, even though most of us are in San Antonio and Austin. We started with a rolling notes document in Google Docs. This thing just got longer as the project went on and is over 50 pages at this point. UX San Antonio has its own Slack channel, and we created a separate channel for Accessibility Internet Rally 2021. That thing was invaluable in letting us collaborate asynchronously. During development, we used a Google spreadsheet to keep track of our punch list items.
We're on Meetup, YouTube, and Slack.
UX San Antonio is available at uxsanantonio.org. We have free virtual events about UI and UX topics. So look us up and join our community. Thanks for letting us participate. We had a great time.
S'more Accessibility.
All right, hi guys. We're Team S'more, and we're all actually students at the University of Texas at Austin doing this competition as part of a class about accessible web design. So we're just gonna go around real quick, introduce ourselves. I'm Olympia. I'm a computer science major, and I'm taking this class to learn more about how to incorporate accessibility into web development, because I'm probably going to go into software engineering when I graduate.
I'm Emily. I'm also a computer science major, and I'm taking this class to learn more about the technical details of web design, accessible web design, and also more lesser known techniques for introducing accessibility.
My name is Mimi. I'm a senior majoring in psychology, and as someone with no prior experience to coding in general, I thought it'd be a nice class to take, and also aligning it with accessibility as well.
Hello, my name is Reed. I'm a math major. I'm taking this class just to gain myself more exposure toward the coding spectrum and learn more about web design.
I'm Shiksen, and I'm a psychology senior, and I'm taking this class to learn about accessibility in web design.
And I'm Drew De Los Santos. I am the program director with the Austin Cooperative Business Foundation. We got paired with the S'more team for the rally, and our mission at ACBF is to build and expand the cooperative economy in Central Texas. And so it's important for us that the cooperative economy be accessible. So we are really glad to work with S'more in this rally to update our website.
Cool, and so with that, we're going to give y'all kind of a sneak peek before and after of some work that we've done. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So this is the original website. It's in Squarespace, and it has a couple of accessibility issues. For example, the tab navigation, you can see here I'm actually pressing tab a bunch of times. It does not even go into the menu at all. There's no skip to content. It doesn't open this up. There's a couple other things here and there. We have, a link style that, the contrast isn't great, as well as there are a lot of images that have, alt text. Like for example, this one you can see here is just the file name. So there's some problems here and there, and a lot of it is just because Squarespace is not particularly accessible out of the box, and there's not a lot of really easy ways to go in and change that. So we actually rebuilt the ACBA site from scratch, from the ground up with WordPress. So, here's our work in progress. It's not quite done yet, but there are a lot of improvements in terms of accessibility. So for example, we have a skip to content and the tab navigation. It goes into all the menus. I can navigate all around here. The link contrast is, it's now it's passing the guidelines. You can see, like a little green check mark. We've gone into all of the places where there are images and tried to add some really descriptive alt text of, important images, like obviously these cooperative principles posters, so that people, can read these images with a screen reader. And yeah, so we're not quite done yet, but we feel, really great about the work that we've done so far. Building out the accessibility of, the website without compromising the content. And we, look forward to submitting for the contest.
Yes, and we, ACBF, is excited to launch our new accessible site after the rally is done.
All right, cool. Thanks, y'all.
User Zoom. UX Akron. Key website pages.
So this is our new web page that we started from scratch. We're using WordPress and Elementor Pro, and we're using a theme called Neve, and that was kind of the framework for this web page. At the top we have our logo, we have a donate button, which I'll dig into later. We have our nav bar. I'm sure everyone can see that. And we have our hero text here that Melanie wrote for us. And the photograph we picked, talks given by Dana Chisel, and right under that we have our currently it says our next event, which already happened, but it'll announce our next event, and then a little button that'll send you to Meetup to register for the event, and also a place where you can sign up for our newsletter. And right under that we have a small call out for all of our lovely sponsors that help make UX Akron possible. And at the bottom we have our footer. And a lot of the same links, another opportunity to sign up for a newsletter in case you're on a page that doesn't have this, which the other ones don't. And another opportunity to donate and connect to our social media. Next up, we have our events page. This page just kind of goes over the upcoming or current event, and if you're interested in sponsoring an event, and other events that are happening in the area that you might be interested in. One of our bigger pages, it's a way to sponsor the organization. There's a couple ways you can support UX Akron. This kind of gives you a quick overview of the number of sponsorship tiers that we have. And these are the number of ways you can support the World IA Day event that we host. At the very bottom, if you want to support the organization in different ways, like donating software services or books that we can, like raffle off or donate. Then we have our blog. Only one lonely blog entry for now, but hopefully we'll have more content here. It just kind of talks about the air rally that we're participating in now. Paragraph about how your donations support UX Akron, and then when you click on donate, it kind of takes you to PayPal's interface here. And then you have the opportunity of making it a monthly donation or not. And you don't need an account, you don't need to have a PayPal account, which is good. And we went with PayPal because it's kind of a trusted organization, almost a household name. A lot of people are familiar with it, so I figured that was a good option to process our donations. And when you sign up for our newsletter or go to the contact page, we handle all of that through HubSpot. So that kind of breaks out into their form iframe.
The User Zoom Owls team, Naomi, Goa, and Takashi.
We work with Knowbility for recruiting accessibility participants for some of our accessibility studies at work. So that's how we got connected to this. So it was fun to be able to run an accessibility study. It was nice to see how accessible you guys made the site.
We're from User Zoom and we're UX researchers, and we've just enjoyed the process of learning accessibility WCAG guidelines and being a resource for helping you to ensure that your site is accessible.
I think for me it was really enlightening just to see how the site was built and kind of seeing WordPress and Elementor, and so yeah, really happy to be part of the process and sort of learn how the site's built. So thank you guys.
UX Akron team, Carrie Ann, Joe, and Melanie.
I thought Knowbility had great resources and that we really appreciate the help from User Zoom. I think the site looks so much better and I'm glad to hear that it was so much more accessible.
From User Zoom was great for their insights. A little frustrating to fight with WordPress and Elementor at times, but that just kind of goes with web development and web design, I guess. But yeah, we ended up with a pretty good design, a nice accessible one. So everything's good.
UX Akron, we took a look at the Knowbility Air project and said yes to all of it. It sounds great, and we have a wonderful new site So we're just really glad that we got to participate in this project. The user Zoom owls were fantastic. Nobility has provided great information every step of the way, and it's just been a wonderful project overall.
AIR 2021 Accessibility Internet Rally. Register at www.nobility.org. A for Access, a group of people in an art gallery.
Thank you, A for Access, for making our website accessible.
Credits. AIR 2021, RBA 11Y, Anika Foundation, Fixer Uppers, Atlanta Jews of Color Council, Allies for A11Y, Path to Literacy, Access Hippos, Best, Breaking Bad Access, Casa Marianella ESL, UX San Antonio, Chica's Mom, More Accessibility, ACBF, User Zoom Owls, UX Akron, A for Access, Access Gallery, DCDD, HCL Team, Ada Lovelace, LBJ Museum San Marcos, the Alfano Arts and Medicine, Borderland Rainbow Center, Neil Hatter, Triumph Foundation, Captain America, Quiet Side Chamber Music, Hopeless Semantic, Book People United. Thank you, team.
Yes! Oh my goodness, that was so awesome. I feel like I want to go on a computer and make websites accessible right now. Like we should host another like on Monday. Like, let's do it. No,
let's not.
I'll take before you to do that.
Recovery time.
Yeah, I need some time.
Yes. So all of you better prepare yourselves because we are doing this again next year, and it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better. So if you are not yet subscribed to our newsletter, you need to go ahead and do that now so that you stay in the know for events like this, opportunities to engage with the community and really make a difference. But it is time. It is time for the official AIR 2021 countdown. If you haven't sent your submission packet to air@nobility.org, now is the time. Do it right now. Press that send button. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress, so go ahead and click send.
I was going to say, we're going to do our countdown video here. Our mentors, our judges, our advisors, they all contributed to this countdown clock, and we are so grateful for them. So as we play our countdown video, this gives you a chance to send your submissions to air@nobility.com or .org, excuse me. So Mariella, you tell me when you're ready to take this away.
I'm ready.
A photo is displayed with each number. 20, Meryl Evans, Mentor. 19, Erica Braverman, Aircrew. 18, Caleb Watson, Advisor. 17, Julie Grundy, Judge. 16, Perrin Hentry, Mentor. 15, Sarah Horton, Lead Mentor. 14, Jay McKay, Aircrew. 13, John Northup, Judge. 12, Molly Moore, Aircrew. 11, Mark Boyden, Aircrew. 10, Boton Jones, Advisor. 9, Sally Thune, Mentor. 8, Dennis Limbry, Judge. 7, Aaron Bromwell, Advisor. 6, Jelena Hay, Judge. 5, Lissa Prince, Judge. 4, Alicia Evans, Mentor. 3, Glenda Sims, Judge. 2, Julianne King, Judge. 1, Sumner Davenport, Mentor. Erica waves the large checkered flag. air@nobility.org.
Congratulations to our AIR competitors. This has just been an absolute journey, I'm sure, for you as well as for me, but we're not quite done with AIR yet because I'm just going to hold on to it as long as I can. We're going to hold on to it. We have our AIR Awards coming up on January 6th. That will be 2022. That will give our judges some time to look over the sites, to judge them, deem who gets to get up on a pedestal, but of course, really, you all in my heart deserve to be on pedestals for putting in this time, this work, this effort to really make the world and of course the internet a more accessible place. So we hope to see you on January 6th.
6 p.m. Central Time.
And just a reminder to the MPOs, you will be getting surveys as well as the teams and the mentors. They will be sent out on Monday. So please, if you get a chance, MPOs, we'd really like for you to get those surveys turned in by Wednesday. That's just to make sure that the judges get a chance to have those while they start looking over those websites.
Wednesday, November 10th, 2021.
We want to once again thank all of our sponsors. Without whom today's event would not be possible. Visa, Monkey Boy, Rev, Sandesk, Cultural Arts from the City of Austin, eBay, Big History Project, and Adobe made today's event possible. So we want to once again thank each one of them for making the time and making this possible. We also want to thank all of you who have participated, the volunteers, the mentors, the judges, and every single one of you that really took the time, really put in the work, really put in the commitment. We are so happy to have you. We also encourage you to stay connected with us in the Nobilityverse. So we need you to go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. You can do that by going to www.bit.ly/nobilitynews. You can also follow us on social media. We are at Nobility, except on Instagram, where we are Nobility INC. And if you want more information, if you have thoughts, if you have a partnership, if you have an event, if you are media or press, and you want to get in touch with us, do not hesitate to send us an email at hello@nobility.org. And with that said, we are going to close shop, and I'm going to pass it along to Jay. So Jay, any last thoughts?
Just everyone, this has been a wild ride this year. I know this was my first year at AIR, and it was just thrilling and exciting, and just so much that I've learned from each and every one of you. Just my eyes are open. You know, I get to say that I've been in the accessibility field for over 12 years, but this was just a completely new dimension to me. So thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your accessibility journey. I couldn't be more thrilled, and I can't wait to see you all in January.
I am so excited. I feel like the January party, we have got to start planning for that, because if there's one thing I've learned about Nobility is that our parties are epic. I mean, epic. You do not want to miss this. So make sure that you sign up. Sharon, before we sign off, any closing thoughts, comments that you want to share with our audience?
I have to wipe the tears from my eyes. I'm so happy. This has just been great. I loved watching the different people talking about what they did, and you know, like, oh well, I knew about accessibility from our textbooks, but applying it was so much different, and it's exactly what AIR was meant for, and it was wonderful. It was great to be here tonight, and really applause to my great team who put this together. Molly and Erica and Mariella and Mark and Jay, you're born to lead. This was great. What a great effort. Somebody put in the chat, don't forget that if you work for a matching company, Nobility is in the middle of our year-end fundraiser. You've already given so much. I'm a little embarrassed to ask you to continue.
A little bit more.
Just spread the word among the people who didn't participate. Oh, you weren't able to participate in AIR? Here, you can throw them $50 or whatever by the end of the year. That's a really nice gesture. But this was really the best. I don't know if I'm even going to sleep tonight, because I can't wait to see all these sites. Good work, everybody. They were all just lovely. Thank you all so much.
All right. And thank you, Miss Sharon. With that, everyone, good night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing journey. Thank you, Mariella, for being a wonderful co-host. Thank you, Mark, for helping me out in the background. Thank you, Texas Captions. And we're keeping it short and sweet, y'all. So good night. Thank you. Mwah. We love you.
Nobility logo in purple. www.nobility.org.